Joseph Hospital in Auckland Park. Police remain on scene as full details and a motive are yet to be determined. Tandil Hlengcobo, Eyewitness News.
Gauteng's matric exams have begun without any major hiccups as thousands of learners sat for the first paper of the 2025 National Senior Certificate. Just under 17,000 candidates wrote the Computer Applications Technology Practical this morning, with only 4 centres reporting minor power issues. Nationwide matric exams will run until early December, with results expected to be released in January next year. Education MEC Matume Chilwane says all challenges experienced today were quickly managed thanks to backup generators and solar power, ensuring no learner was disadvantaged. And in France, a woman has been charged for the theft of 6 gold nuggets worth $1.7 million from the Museum of Natural History in Paris. It is understood the Chinese-born woman is part of a group of thieves that exploited a security flaw that had not been identified during the last audit conducted in 2024. The woman was arrested in Barcelona while trying to dispose some melted gold, which weighed around a kilo last month. French police say they are still investigating the incident. It's a fine Wednesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Johannesburg drops to an overnight low of 8 degrees, peaking at a high of 23. Pretoria 11 and 25. Vereeniging 8, reaching a high of 26. Monkey Ziko Ko. Eyewitness News.
EWN. In touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
#MSW.
You may begin to feel anxious or excited.
Honest, deliberate, engaging, uncensored.
High dosage administration can cause adverse reactions.
And most importantly, independent in mind and execution.
This is a normal response. Are you ready?
Marawa Sports Worldwide.
That show is always thorough.
Thank you, Mr. Marawa. Good show as always.
Great show as always. Thanks.
Great show as always.
Great show as always, Rob. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the wonderful show, Robert. Thank you so much. It
always gives me pleasure to speak to someone who's got such an insight.
I love the introduction.
Hey, what is show Marawa?
I don't know, maybe you are still calling Mr. Mazuputu, or maybe that does not exist.
Sure, Robbie. World Cup, here we come.
Whoever signed to praise to Kaizer Chiefs must come and take his player and leave Kaizer Chiefs. That to praise guy don't deserve to wear that black and gold jersey. He's been missing. Big chances, so we don't need that guy.
Yeah, no. Whoever who is bewitching Kaizer Chiefs, I know. Kuyazwakala manje. Kuyazwela hlisela impela mfo ngeke. If you are listening, please. So right manje kuyazwakala. There is no way Ashley Dupree could miss a goal. Goalkeeper ngakepalini. Nah, that's ridiculous.
Oh, thank you so much indeed. Whoever's bewitching Kaizer Chiefs, please now stop it. Kita, good to see you, man.
You know, we have the start of the season, and this is between very competitive teams. One of them is the Lakers versus Golden State, which is a classic. You know, LeBron James and Steph Curry. You know, you can expect a lot of sparks for that game.
I know there's a lot of speculation around him, whether he's going to finally retire. There's always an obsession about whether retirement is imminent, but he just goes to gym, he does his thing, and he carries on.
Absolutely. That's a special human species.
Last year, December, there was no money to pay Bruce. There was no money to pay Mkelele. There was no money to pay the players. There was no money to play the women team. I had to bring out the money early so that our players must not go into Christmas. So people, they say, Mackenzie is always there. Yes, I'm there during the good and the bad times. During the bad times, when you were eating Christmas food, I was the one making sure they get Christmas money.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
The iconic room dividers.
The room dividers. Zatu Mamanj.
Robert Marawa, live on 947. Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live. #MSW.
Well, without a doubt, it is the iconic Room Dividers tonight. All things to do with rugby. Be part of the conversation. Do call us through. Do send your WhatsApp voice notes. Rusty Erasmus putting out to squad already. 060-708-0484, 060-708-0484. Otherwise, do give us a call directly in studio 011-888-947. It is exciting. It's exciting times. We'll share the dates as well. The All Black Tour for 26, which is going to be next year. Where they're going to be playing. Have you planned? Have you saved a bit of money? All I can tell you is that it's going to be very, very, very exciting indeed. It is hashtag MSW, Marawa Sports Worldwide, proudly brought to you by Hollywood Bets.
Let's go!
The moments you remember. The games you can't forget. Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Vuma FM and Rise FM. Powered by Hollywood Bets.
Right, before the Room Dividers get into the studio, let me just quickly remind you, Tristan Stubbs kept South Africa in the game, grinding out a gritty unbeaten 68 and 104 balls to enable the Proteas to close in on 185 for 4 wickets in 65 overs in their first innings on the second day of the second test at Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium today. Well, that left South Africa now trailing their opponents by 148 runs after they had dismissed Pakistan for 333 in the morning, courtesy of a superb 7 of 102, though, from the left-arm spinner Keshav Maharaj, who returned to action with another masterful performance after recovering from that groin injury that kept him out of action for the first test.
I think, first of all, good evening, everyone. I think it's important for every player to be able to adapt their game depending on the different countries that they are in and the different conditions that they are facing, and then obviously adapt their skill set to what they're facing in the current conditions. Obviously, he came off a disappointing test in the first test match. I think he showed great character. I think a little bit clearer in his game plan, a bit more clarity, understanding his scoring opportunities or his scoring strokes. And obviously strong in defence.
Well, fresh off their first win of the season, now the Lions have dealt a blow as they prepare to face an in-form Ulster at Ellis Park on Saturday. Now, assistant coach Morne Steyn confirmed on Tuesday that Springbok scrum half Morne van der Berg will sit this one out to recover fully from a minor injury before joining the national team. And there was also disappointing news, though, for flanker JC Pretorius, who faces a lengthy absence.
Krap is actually almost ready to play, but we don't want to force him for this game coming up. With the week, I think next week we have week off, so that give him 2 weeks to recover quite nicely. And then, yeah, like I said earlier, he's in the box squad as well, so you don't want to risk something and maybe get him out of the tour if you force something. And then, yeah, JC unfortunately sound like it's out for 4 months. So, yeah, that's not good for us as a team and for JC. I think he's one of our top players. So, yeah, we're really going to miss him. And, yeah, just the best for his recovery.
Well, in the meantime, the winger Edwin Cater said victory over the Scarlets had given the team a boost, though, after 3 defeats in Europe.
Hi, Morgan. Yeah, like you said, it was a tough tour. We set a goal for ourselves that we must get 10 points from these 2 games, and I think it was a good start. It was still a tough game. Like Morna said, it's always a tough game. Doesn't matter who you play. And it's a different beast coming up this weekend. But, yeah, the win for us just gave us a bit of confidence and belief in ourselves. And, to make ourselves ready for the upcoming game.
Well, reflecting on last weekend's 29-18 victory over the Scarlets, Steyn praised the team's composure but acknowledged areas of improvement.
Yeah, I think the whole team and, everyone is enjoying Chris being here. I played with him at the Bulls, so, yeah, I know what he can bring to a team, and I just see the calmness he brings to the squad here as well, and just his taking control on the game and just running the game nicely. And then, yeah, you have the great wingers who's going for that contestables, win it back for us. So I think at the moment our kicking game is is very well and is working for us. So hopefully this weekend coming up, like everyone said, it's going to be a different beast. But yeah, we're looking forward to take the same game and maybe get the same result, hopefully.
Well, we're getting to the exciting part, the Room Dividers on Marawa Sports Worldwide, proudly brought to you by FNB, from grassroots to greatness on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, as well as Sowetan Live.
Dividing public opinion.
Are they empowering?
And setting the rugby agenda.
Do not forget where your history South Africa is. The enemy's desire is to try and erase it.
Welcome. You're with the Room Dividers.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Nick Bester, the Nedbank running club manager, actually called it embarrassing. Nick?
Well, let me start off. I'm not to speak on behalf of any other race organizer. And I'm just going to speak on behalf of myself as a race director. And race directors I work with, what we've done. Especially in a city like Port Elizabeth, they call it the Windy City. They say this is where the wind was born. We've got free Plan A, Plan B, and Plan C. Now, Plan A is when everything is perfect. You not only have the safety of the runners in your hands, you also got the trust of the runners in your hands. So you must realize these guys spent a lot of money coming from abroad, coming from Europe, coming from Africa, flights, accommodation, and you must make sure that you give them what they want.
Hashtag MSW. Hashtag MSW.
Ready,
The scrums collapse. The tackles hit like thunder.
That is sensational rugby.
And the tries, they light up the scoreboard.
So impressive, it really is.
With Robert Marawa on Room Dividers.
Iconic Room Dividers.
On Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Very silly comment.
Well, no silly comments tonight. I can guarantee you that it's pretty the calm before another storm in South African rugby. And once again, the world is watching. And that's why just yesterday, Rassie Erasmus dropped his latest selection bombshell. The Springbok squad for the end of tour is out, and it's got the Rugby Nation talking, and that's why we want you to talk as well. Be part of this conversation. We encourage that chat, guys. So yeah, be a part of it, and it's the start of a changing of the guard, and I think that's the kind of phrase that's been doing the rounds. Is it the start of the change of the guard? Now, some of the most trusted names, and I mean big names like Bongi Mbonambi, the likes of Vincent Koch. You look at Willie Leroux, Willie playing the best rugby of his life, man. Makazole Mapimpi, Faf de Klerk, all of them were left out. So double World Cup winners. I mean, they've been warriors, they've been leaders, but time literally waits for no one. So in their place, it's a new generation of Bok blood that is rising. I mean, the young guns who are very, very hungry. They're fearless. The Stormers prop, Zachary Porthan, is there. Headlines, a group of players, all under 24. And suddenly the Bok jersey feels like it belongs now to the future, doesn't it? While others are going to be rebuilding, Rassie reloads. He kind of pulls off another masterstroke by securing 9 Japanese-based players for the 2 tour matches outside of the international window. And that's why tonight we asking the question, who's earned their shot and who hasn't? In your opinion, has he chosen the right mix? And I mean, the guys who've been shown the door, who do you think has been shown the door permanently from the big names that I mentioned just now? And are the old guard being respectfully phased out or ruthlessly being replaced? And for those who've been left out, I mean, what must they do to fight their way back into the Bok green? So that's why joining me in the Room Dividers tonight to break it all down is the former junior Bok and Springbok flank, and also the straight-talking Tando Manana, as well as the independent media's seasoned rugby brain and author of the Fireside Springbok, Mike Greenaway. Gentlemen, good to see you again. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the show.
Good evening, Rob. Good to have you, Mike. Evening, everyone. Mike is also here.
Is he? Who you've introduced him for me?
I'm informing you, he's here. I'm happy.
Yeah. Why? Did he say something wrong last time?
I feel vindicated on a couple of weeks back, just on the squad announcement on some of the players.
Tell me, what do you feel vindicated on? That's a deep breath.
It's a deep breath, Rob. You know, when it comes to team selection, I sat back, Mike, and I look at the return of Jason Dixon in the team.
Mm-hmm.
I look at Franco Mostert, and I ask myself, what have they done for them to deserve to go on the end of the year tour? A guy like Vincent Chituka just played one test at number 7. And let's be honest, South Africans, without Peter Steph du Toit, we have not found a replacement. But we cannot expect him to play all 13 or 15 test matches in 1 year. So the best thing for us is we should have gone for a proper number 7 who's been on form in whatever way and be given a fair chance. Chituka just played against Barbarians. He only had 1 test. He was gone. And he's been the shining light. He's been the shining light for the Sharks. Yeah. A horrible Sharks, but he's been a shining light. That's one. Franco Mostert, Rob, he's not played more than 2 games for the entire international season. He's not even featured in the last couple of 6 games of the Springbok test. Yes, he had a bereavement, but he walks straight into the team. Jason Dixon last played against an All Black team. He was deemed to be poor. Poor. The last time, and that was at Newlands. He's never seen a Bok jersey, but he comes back running in. That's surprising. It surprises me. Robbie, the coaches have the right to select who they want to select. And for me, my issue here is, if we are going to be phasing people out, at least they've got to be phased by people that are playing, that are on form, and rightfully so, they see themselves stepping aside. That's for me.
That's a beautiful preamble,
yes.
Because it gives us a broader outlook of what we'll chat about when you come back from the break. Mike, let me give you your preamble now. Just a broader outline, like Katando's done now, to say, I see a Dixon running in. Last game was many, many months back, but finds his way back into the box squad. Talks about Vincent, says that great at the Sharks, given one opportunity, doesn't come back to the squad. For you, when you look at it, just at face value, we'll get into the nitty-gritty afterwards.
Yeah, look, Peter Steph is the king. Long live the king. He's not dead yet. So, all the talk of successes, and the successes, in my mind, are actually not playing at all. Cameron Hanekom, Elrich Lowe at the Bulls, those to me are the legitimate successors who will be there. I think the guys that we're talking about now, Ben Jason, etc., they are stand-ins in my mind. Mm-hmm. I think the real successes are still coming.
So what would you describe this venture then? So if they aren't the real successes, then how would you describe this choice that Rassie's making now? It is to do what? Broaden the base, or?
Look, I think he's just giving those guys opportunities now. They have been fringe players. The guys that I'm talking about are unable to play at the moment. So he's giving these guys an opportunity, and maybe they put up their hands. Maybe Ben Jason Dixon says, I am not Cameron Hanekom. I am the guy that must actually take over.
And you look at the age, all of them young.
Yeah.
Below the age of 24. And that signifies what?
Well, it signifies that Rassie is slowly but surely sifting out those World Cup winners who are in their 30s and bringing in a new guard. We're talking about players who are 24 and under. We're talking about the Sashas. Mm-hmm. We're talking about the Zachary Porthen that's coming, Ethan Hooker, Kanan Moody, Jan Hendrik Wessels. But he's doing it slowly but surely. I mean, the last thing you want to do is, when you're changing a Springbok team, is to rip out the whole spine of the team. the backbone of the team and put a whole flood of youngsters in. So he's almost been doing it one by one. I mean, Rassie is sharp. Obviously, we know that. He knows what his team will look like in 2027. But he's not going to rip out all those World Cup winners in one go. He's going to let them go one by one by one.
Because the important thing, and we got to remember this moving forward, is that whatever changes he brings in, he's going to bring them in with the desire to win. Because the ranking still remains an important thing. Because when it comes to a World Cup draw, he does not want to lose at any stage. So that's the point that I want to pick up on when we come back from the break. I see a lot of your WhatsApp voice notes already lamenting what happened over the weekend. And I'm glad that Mike Greenaway was there in Durban. A lot of you saying, what on earth is going on with the Sharks?
#MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live at the same time.
#MSW. Alarm goes off, but silently. And now you're late for everything. Leave. Cancel the day before you leave.
I knew it.
1 tick, 2 ticks, blue tick. Hectic.
Yeah, I'm going to need a mac and cheese.
Adulting is hard. Instead of curling up or crashing out, try the new Nando's mac and cheese with delicious cheesy bechamel sauce, topped with crispy peri crumble. Get it as a side with any meal or by itself, because you're just a baby.
Turning 18 means we're used to taking on any challenge, like a boersokkervrou, and realizing that the only bakkies that matter played for the Springboks. We've been there, providing Mzansi with a bakkie that gives more performance and endurance. Celebrate 18 years of more with the P300 LS from only $5,999 per month. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's and to book a test drive. GWM. Go with more. Brought to you by GWM Finance, a division of Westbank, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
Dlala Madludlu, coach. The games are out. Who are you betting on?
Dlala Madlamin, top player. On Sports Stake 4, I'm going with the strongest defense.
Nice one, coach. But I'm going with the goals.
What's that, Coach Amanda? Now it's up to the fans to Dlala, or rather Dlala what they must. Dlalu 4.
Sports Stake 4 for only R2. Pick win, lose or draw for 4 games and you could win. Play at any participating National Lottery retailer. Be enjoy a game. Panda Push Up Play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Big banks weren't built for small businesses, so we built something better. We made Lula, South Africa's first business-only banking suite. We reimagined banking and funding to give your business more. Like a relationship banker who cares enough to remember your name and access to funding in as little as 24 hours. We're more than a bank. We're Lula. Visit lula.co.za and experience business class banking and funding today. Powered by Access Bank. T's and C's apply.
Lift is turning 5 and we're celebrating with South Africa. Back in 2020, the public chose our name, and now 5 years later, Lift is inviting you to design a tale of a real Airbus A320. That's right, your design could take to the skies on one of our aircraft. And the best part? The winning designer gets flights for a whole year. Don't miss your chance to leave your mark on South African skies. Visit lift.co.za to enter today. T's and C's apply.
Shop, collect, and complete your pack of 31 Rugby Collector-Box cards only at Pick n Pay. Get a pack of 3 cards every time you spend 500 Rand or more and get your special edition album for 79 Rand 99 in store. Plus, get a bonus pack when you buy participating deals. Visit Pick n Pay online or in-store for more details. Pick n Pay, proud retail sponsor of the Springboks. T's and C's apply.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Nick Bester, the Nedbank running club manager. I mean, was there, from what you know, Nick, was there any consultation with the elite runners, for example, or club managers before the cancellation happened?
Not what I know of. It's just that my elite athletes phoned me after 5 o'clock in the morning and told that the buses are departing to the start of the race in Cape Town because the race has been called off. And a lot of our runners entered the race as social runners, and they told me that they went to the start and they just ran.
The Cape Town wind that blew away our Sanlam marathon plans, leaving many of us scrambling to find alternative 2026 Comrades qualifiers.
Hashtag MSW. Hashtag MSW.
Well, as we celebrate the power of sport and pride of our nation, FNB proudly backs the Springboks, driving transformation in the South African rugby from grassroots to greatness. From players and coaches to schools and clubs, FNB is inspiring future generations in green and gold. As a proud partner of the Springboks, FNB help changes everything.
Not positive, Mike. Mike is not positive. It took 20 minutes.
Get inside the action and huddle.
Can't just attack and attack and attack.
With Robert Marawa on Room Dividers.
The Room Dividers?
The Room Dividers. On Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Right, so Mike and Tando are here, and let's dive straight into it. Tando, were you surprised, though, when you saw some of the big names, your Makazo de Mapimpis, your Vili Leroux, Faf de Klerk, Vincent Koch, Bongimbo Nambi being left out?
Rob, it was bound to come. It was bound to happen. But I think, in particular, I'll start with Faf. And I look at Morne van den Berg, I look at the Grant Williams, and I look at a Kobus Reiner, and I did my own, just a little bit of look back on those players. And an interesting thing I came up is that Faf will be 36, Kobus will be 37, Morne van den Berg will be 30 years, and Grant will be 31 in 2 years' time. Nothing wrong with that selection in terms of, if you look at current form, you look at what Kobus has done, given that. But if we're starting to phase, I get worried that we'll go with 31-year-olds, 35, 37-year-old scrum halves, because we need some young blood. We need to mix some young blood. That, for me, is my worry. You can't then want to bring a Hashim Pitt, or because he's a 20-year-old. In fact, my issue here is why couldn't we bring a Hashim Pitt if we bring a Zachary? You know, if one looks at what the age groups of those specific positions are. So in terms of criteria that they looked at, I sort of am worried. I think some of the players you mentioned that are not part of the end of the year tour, it might not be the end completely of their career, but it's an alarming time for them. For example, if one looks at a Bongi Mbonambi, we can't really say that's the end of it, Mike, because we're struggling with hookers post Malcolm Marx. We struggle. I think Malcolm Marx, as I said in previous shows, I've said he's played the most minutes because we have not found a reliable successor to step in. But when in the past we knew that Bonge would play 45, Malcolm would finish off. We don't have that. We've brought in Chrobis, and people had written Chrobis out, that he won't play back for the Springbok, but he's back in at this stage. So I'm sort of worried in terms of those positions. I think we're also a bit light at number 8. It has to be said. Without Visa, who then steps in, because we can actually see that Ivan Ross is not there. And yes, Hanekom is injured. Mike is quite correct. He should be the next best thing. But we should be playing with proper players that are also knocking on the doors. Because both of the players that Mike spoke of, Elrich and Hanekom, have had big injuries. It's not a 6-week injury. It's long-term injury. So they've got to really come back and really give us the same form that we did have. When you come and look at the locks, we're quite fortunate in the locking departments that those players that are chosen, deserves to be there, and they play as a good unit. I mean, Archier, Norkier, Eben, and Luet, those are, in 2027, I'm selecting it for you. Those are your locks, without a shadow of doubt. Those are the 4 locks. Although you have Murat, always being on the wings, and yet we don't really see anything that he is quite capable of doing in that position. But we do have those positions. In terms of the props, it's good to see others coming back and featuring in. I'm quite happy. But for me, Rob, is if you look at Faf, obviously he'll be out, but we don't have an adequate replacement. A young that will learn and take over post that. And then 2, You look at Makazole Mapimpi, for example, we all know that, as a finisher, no one comes closer to him, strong and a strong runner in terms of that. But yes, in terms of high ball, still a big issue with him and all of that. So other things, he doesn't have the X factor that other players have, like Ethan Hooker. So Ethan Hooker will always get the nod ahead of Makazole Mapimpi. Ketley Arendse comes back, he walks straight into the team because no player actually has all his credential as in that position of a winger. Where you are sort of a bit nicely covered is at centre, where if you look at the centres, you've got your 4 centres, you've got Andre Esterhuizen, you've got your Damien, you've also got your Kenner who's really raised up his hand, and your Jesse Creel. Those are the 4 that he's going to go with nonetheless. It's a matter of who he starts at the end of the day. No one has really knocked on the number 12 jersey. Andre Esterhuizen, we saw, Mike, you were there. Yeah. He bounced off, that reserve hooker of Ulster. But he never gives that performance when he's wearing green and gold. And here is a player with so much talent and so much that he can possess. But when he gets to the international stages, he looks an ordinary inside centre.
Okay, before you give us the State of the Nation address, let me just bring Mike in here. Mike, overall, though, I think he's given a credible yeah or nay in terms of the squad. The new players, I'm going to talk about Zachary because he's been an exciting one, has had cameo appearances coming through, when they played against Leinster, Scarlets started the game last week when they beat Zebra and so on. But for you, what really stands out?
Yeah, so for me, this is a potent mix of the old and the established and the emerging. So what Rassie is saying here is that nobody is safe. We all know that there's a whole bunch of double World Cup winners who are well into their 30s and who are going to be mid-30s at least in the next World Cup. We've seen a couple of them already now on this list that we've spoken about. And it is exactly 2 years since the Springboks won the World Cup. It's exactly 2 years until the next World Cup. The 1st of October, a few weeks ago, was 2 years from when Australia opened the World Cup, whoever they're going to play against. So we're at complete halfway point in the 4-year cycle. So what we're going to see is that group of players who are 24 and younger is going to slowly increase, and that group of 33, 34-year-olds who are going to fall out is going to increase as well. So slowly there is going to be a change.
And Rob, if I can say, many people don't maybe remember Zach. Zach was playing just this year, the Varsity Cup finals. Just this year. Just 2 years ago, 2022, 2.5, was SA School's captain. And just last year, under Bafana and Kleko, he was the SA Under-20 captain. So things have moved nicely for him. But in the Currie Cup, where I watched him, Rob, he was not the best tight head scrummager in the competition. But because you had Brock Harris, who then worked with him, and the Stormers had a very good pre-season. And he has tremendously assisted him in that position. That Dobo had an opportunity to give him that opportunity at the start of this URC's competition. And in all the games that he's played, he's actually been phenomenal. So kudos to the Springbok coaching staff for selecting him. I think he's done well.
And but 21 as well.
100%.
Age is on the side, yeah.
Yeah, but they're doing the similar thing to Kitchi. Kitchi as well got that opportunity at that age. So they're wanting to see another Kitchi coming out of him, and which is good, Rob. But I'm just saying is the opportunities that Mike speak of, halfway mark and some of the players, is that it's just also on the other side is not that fortunate for other players. I don't know what a guy like Trocky needs to do at number 8 for us, because we know that he won't play for England. He'll get the European passport nonetheless. But he's a player that also should have been given an opportunity. He was the former SA Under-20 World Player of the Year, and he's never donned the green and gold.
Pop in, Mike. Don't
so what I'd like to just say here is the United Rugby Championship really is the platform where players know they can make a name for themselves, or do the opposite. Because Rassie is watching very closely. Now, for instance, some of those guys that have fallen onto the Springbok standby list or have fallen out completely, not picked at all, some of them haven't been shooting the lights out in the URC. I'm talking about the likes of the Bongis. And yes, look, he has had some family issues and stuff, but, Rassie's saying, yes, I'm not too sure, so I'll put the pause button on you for now. But do something in the URC and you could come back. Zachary, look at this Lighty. He came off the bench in the Stormers' first game, had a great cameo. He has had 3 other performances where he's just gone through the rafters. And Rassie's saying, right, okay, you're playing well, I'm going to pick you. Johan Grobelaar, now here's an interesting case. That guy came into the box 2024, had a couple of games. We thought he's the next Springbok hooker. He suddenly falls by the wayside. But what does he do? He puts on his red skull cap, scrum cap, whatever you want to call it. And he just puts his head down and keeps playing. And his form for the Bulls this year has been extraordinary. So there is a man who hasn't sulked, hasn't said, well, I'm not getting picked. Well, what can I do to make the Springboks?
But let's talk about that, because I know that last year, so 2024, he earned 3 caps for the Springboks and then fell by the wayside. And then now, all of a sudden, there's something that he has done to capture the imagination of the technical team of the Springboks.
I think it's because he's just put his head down and played, and he's led the Bulls as well. So it's the leadership thing as well. Yeah, absolutely. But Rassie likes fighters. He likes guys who put their head down and carry on playing. Another one is Gerard Steenekamp. But look, we always know that he was, he had a big future with the Boks. He had that terrible injury. He came back for the Bulls in their first game, and he has just showed such fighting spirit. He has been scrumming, and Rassie is saying, okay, well, this guy, I'm putting him straight back in. He's ready. He's good to go.
And good to go also when you look at a Wilco Low. So Wilco Low together with him, formidable.
Double trouble.
Formidable. You would know pretty much closer there in Pretoria in terms of keeping your eye on them there, Manana.
Rob, that's a combination that actually makes the Bulls the best scrummaging front rower in the country.
Sure.
So if you have Grobbies, you have Steenekamp, you have Wilco, that's your front rower week in, week out. It's a known phenomenon by many of the opposition teams. If you go back to the URC semi-final, Bulls versus the Sharks. They had a Koch, Bongi, they had Ox, and that front rower annihilated them like nothing, Rob, in front of everyone to see. In fact, I think that's one of their worst performance, and they'll tell you that they came up against the best in the business. So it was always going to be a situation of having all Steenekamp back in once his knee was back in shape. And I think we go into the end of the year tour not worrying how our front rower look. If one were to look also, we also used the vessel boy to play loose head and play hooker, Jan Hendrik, and now you won't have that issue. If you look at the team, you look at your tight heads, you've got Thomas, you've got Wilco, now you go on to the loose head, now you sort of smile, you've got Ox, you've got Steenekamp. Those are your front rowers. If you look at your hooker, you've got a Malcolm Marks, and then you've still got on Fentes, another loose head prop that's coming on there. So for me, I'm quite happy with what Rassie has in the front rowers, and I think he's prepared well. He understands the magnitude of the game against the French in Paris, and also what we're going to be facing against the Irish as well. So you've got to prepare and have a very good front 8, and that's what he's done in his selection. I think that's why you'll see that he doesn't really bother much with having in the back line. He's really pumped up his forward group, and he's got much more lesser players when you look at the back line for this tour.
I'm looking at Vincent Koch, and I'm looking at social media, people asking about Vincent Koch. He's 35 years old. He's given the best that we've ever seen of him, but does this now start to become that phasing off period for him?
I would think so, Rob. Yeah. With the selection of Zachary Porthen coming in, with Jan Hendrik Wessels, who can play anywhere in the front row. I think this is the end. I mean, Vincent will be 37, so I think he would be happy. He's won 2 World Cups. I mean, everything comes to an end. I mean, Father Time marches on. There's a couple of those guys who I would say it's the end. Willie Leroux would be another, and he's been fantastic. He's been a mentor. He's done everything, but it's now time for him to hit the pastures. So
never nice that, eh? It's never a very nice thing to do. But Vincent Koch, I mean, certainly one of the top performers for the Springboks through time. When we come back from the break, though, we'll also chat about the 9 Japan-based players released for the 2 tour games, though, that fall outside of the international window. How smart a move is that? So join the conversation. We'll be back.
#MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live at the same time. #MSW.
Dlala Madludla, coach. The games are out. Who are you betting on?
Dlala Madlamin, top player. I mean, on Sports Stake 4, I'm going with the strongest defense.
Nice one, coach. But I'm going with the goals.
What's that, Coach Amanda? Now it's up to the fans to Dlala, or rather Dlala what they must. Dlalu 4.
Sports Stake 4 for only R2. Pick win, lose or draw for 4 games and you could win. Play at any participating National Lottery retailer. Enjoy a game. Panda push up play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Breathe in, insurance. Breathe out, pineapple. In, insurance. Breathe out, pineapple. Again, in, insurance. Out, pineapple. Again and again.
Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
Zinzi, the Gen Z. Word on the street is you sold your car.
Yes, and I needed a glow up. #no hustle, no hassle.
So wait. The influencer got influenced by We Buy Cars.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And they came to me. They checked the car, they gave me an offer. Oh, and they paid me immediately. Easier than an Insta Live, without the weird DMs at 2 a.m.
I didn't understand half of the things you just said, but hey, We Buy Cars. Geared for the glow-up, geared for you.
Enjoy unbeatable value this big deal Wednesday at Food Lovers Market. Buy 2 sweet corn pre-packs for only R50 and get 2 broccoli pre-packs absolutely free. Get 8 75-gram chicken drumsticks for just R50 and save big on 5 120-gram pork loin or rib chops at R50 per deal. Valid this Wednesday only at all inland Food Lovers Market stores. It's in the experience.
Ah, summertime, sunshine, sizzling braais, and the occasional oof, shame ne? Like when Uncle Pat thinks he's 21 and does a backflop into the pool. Or that quick soccer game that ends with sprained ankles and bragging rights left in the sand. Summers can come with surprises, but your medical bills shouldn't be one. Join BestMed Medical Scheme and be stress-free with reliable cover. BestMed, personally yours. Visit bestmed.co.za. BestMed Medical Scheme is an authorized FSP.
Huawei Watch GT6 Series, 2025's must-have smartwatch, introducing the king of power. Up to 21 days of unstoppable battery life in a sleek titanium and ceramic design that's as strong as it's stylish. The Trackmaster with 24/7 heart rate tracking, sleep monitoring, advanced health management, and the world's first cycling virtual power feature. Fully compatible with both iOS and Android. Get yours now from just R169 a month over 36 months or R4,999 at selected retailers. T's and C's apply.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Kita, good to see you, man. How are you seeing the trajectory of South Africa when it comes to participation as just true fans of the game?
This is a very good question, and over the last couple of years, you see the changes. Basketball provide an entertainment space, none that other. We are seeing an increase increased growth among young people, at grassroots level, at elite level. Just last year, we had MBB participating in the BAL as a South African team and doing very well, led a young man called Samkelo, who's trotting the world and being very talented. So we are seeing an increased volume among schools' participation. This year alone, we had a competition extended. Numerous young people competing, not just in basketball, but learning how to become a true basketball fan.
#MSW. #MSW.
Ready,
The scrums collapse. The tackles hit like thunder.
That is sensational rugby.
And the tries, they light up the scoreboard.
So impressive. It really is.
With Robert Marawa on Room Dividers.
Iconic room dividers.
On Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Very silly comment.
Dividing public opinion.
Are they empowering?
And setting the rugby agenda.
Do not forget where your history South Africa is. The enemy's desire is to try and erase it.
Welcome. You're with the Room Dividers.
Evening, Tarok. Lontilemakiboteta from Kyalami. I'm very concerned as a Sharks supporter for a number of reasons. I think the culture that they want to introduce at the Sharks, or have been striving to introduce at the Sharks, that of inclusivity and all of that has been a good culture. But however, I feel like the people that they've put in leadership positions have been completely wrong people. So having someone like a Neil Powell as a director of rugby, moving from sevens and into the 15-man game, and putting him in such a heavy position with so many responsibilities in the 15-man game, I don't think that was a good move. Number two, to recycle John Plumtree after he left and now to bring him back again, also don't think that was the right move. Number three, I feel like there's a disjuncture between the academy and how the Sharks want to play at senior level. So I still remember the times when Hans Skriber was the head of the Sharks Academy when we were still playing. And we had even good coaches like Swiss and Bali Swartz and them there. They specifically had a model that they wanted to introduce that would go through right into the senior team. Right now, I'm not seeing that unity there. So I really am concerned. There's a disjunction. I hope things change.
There's a disjuncture at the Sharks and hoping that things do change. Mike Greenaway, Tando Manana are the Room Dividers right here on #MSW. Let's dive straight into that, guys, because I know a lot of people have been yearning to talk about it. Mike, you were down in Durban. You were at the Hollywood Bets Kings Park Stadium. Disjuncture or not?
Yeah, look, the problem with the Sharks, and I'm going to be completely blunt here, is they are too top-heavy with Springboks. You've got 12, 13, sometimes 14 Springboks in that squad.
13 started over the weekend.
Yeah. So what happens is, to be successful in the URC, you've got to have a consistent squad of players over the course of nearly 9 months of the year. So let me just give you an example of what I'm talking about. The Sharks had a pre-season. They had 8 players. 8 players, John Plumtree and his coach. There were more coaching staff than players during their pre-season. So they had 8 guys active. To be fair, they had about 12 guys injured. And then they had nearly an entire team away in the Rugby Championship playing for South Africa. So how then, when those Springboks come back, are they going to just hit the ground running? Look, I mean, they've just come back from the Rugby Championship. Now they're supposed to be fighting fit, in tune with what the Sharks are doing. And that's why the Sharks are always so slow to start in the URC, because they have vast chunks of players that are away, come back. Now they're back for 2 games, and now they go away for another 5-week tour. Then they come back. Then they've got to go into resting protocols for SA Rugby's resting protocols. So they're gone again. So the Sharks' problem, and I know, and I read social media, everyone wants John Plumtree's head. It's not his fault. The fault at the Sharks is the people who have been doing the recruiting for them. They have not given John Plumtree a squad that he can consistently work with over the course of a campaign.
But that's why the caller said there's a big disjuncture between the academy as well as the first team. I know, Tando, during the break, you mentioned the P word to describe the Sharks. I don't know if you want to pick it up from there.
No, Rob, you mustn't be MPMP. You mustn't be MPMP. I'm not erasing that word.
You're not erasing it?
No, I'm not erasing it, but you mustn't lead me. You are leading me now.
But that's the word you use.
Yeah, but you are leading me. You want me to say it. Stop it.
So
I don't want that.
Say it.
I don't want that.
No?
Firstly, let me say that.
Are you
The
shy
Sharks.
to say it?
No.
Are you scared?
The Sharks got a hiding. Let me start there.
But are you scared to say the
Rob,
word?
the Sharks got a hiding. They were pathetic.
Oh, I see. You can
Yes.
use the word. There's the word.
No, the word. No, you are leading me. This is not the court. This is a radio show.
There's
What I'm
courts
trying
all
to
over
say,
the
Rob, what I'm trying to say is, when I say they got a hiding,
yes,
it reminded me of South Africa-Australia game,
Yeah.
right? And we had the Springboks. You guys were fighting about 12 and 13. There's no way that the Sharks can go back to a 2023 era. Mike, you cannot allow that. Sharks cannot allow that. 2023 is on repeat currently in 2025. And you speak about the recruitment and what have you. The recruitment at the Sharks is not appalling, but I'm just saying is they've let go of a Hlekani to go to the Lions. That's how does that happen? How do you allow that to happen?
Under whose guard?
Under the coaching staff of the Sharks, including Powell.
The recruitment
The
guys.
recruitment guys.
His name is Michael Horrock.
It's Michael Horrock,
and
yes,
Neil
yeah,
Powell. Those
yeah.
are the guys who are in charge of who comes and goes at the Sharks.
So what made them pathetic over the weekend?
So Rob, let's have a look. Is physically, I saw a clip of the admin showing how physical they were bouncing off Ulster players. At the end of the day, it's the results that counts. The Ulster side won quite comfortably. They were going, Rob, they took a flight. They took a flight from Top Island, from the north of Ireland, right down to Durban. That's how many hours. They would have gotten here, had to sort of train lesser than the Sharks players, don't know the conditions, and yet come up against what they feared was a dominant Springbok squad.
I'd like to come in here. What we're really talking about here, and I was alluding to it earlier, is that you had a core of Sharks players who were Springboks who had been out and who came straight back in to play for the Sharks. Now they're going on an overseas tour for the Boks. Do you want to put your body on your line? Are you going to empty the tank completely? Are you going to... or have you got the Sharks clears because you've been out with the Springboks? Now you're back. Now you're going to go again. And that is my problem with the Sharks, is that the core of their main team are players who don't always want to be there and who are often away with the Springboks.
And also you've got disgruntled players. If you look at the Hendrickse brothers, they're out of favor in the Rassie setup. So, and also they're on the bench. So it doesn't make matters easy for them to really perform, to show for the last time to be in the team, and they're not in the team. So what it needs a whole overall.
So in the disgruntled, because I love that fact that you center it around disgruntled. So maybe paint a picture here. So there you are. The 13 players, for example, who go in and do Springbok duty, they're not there for the Sharks. But the Sharks continue playing in their absence, and when they come back, obviously the players then have to be shunted off and go and sit on the bench or sit in the grandstand. So do you say that disgruntlement comes from that, the fact that they can't themselves be consistent as a result of that?
Vincent Koch is not going with the Boks, Rob. How is he going to perform this weekend? Vincent Koch. How is he going to he's not going to perform because he's not part of the team going to the end of the year tour. So you're going to have a completely new front rower within a space of a week. You're not going to have the players that you spoke of. Now, all of a sudden, you've got to play a guy like Lucanio Am, who's also out of the mix, play him at 12, and then you play Churenzo at 13. Who do you choose, Masuku or Hendricks? None of them have really shown or raised up their hand who wants to be the Sharks number 10 in that case. So you're going to have a completely new team, Rob. And that's why people are asking, Mike, for the change of regime in the coaching.
Okay.
I just hold on, Mike. Just hold on, Mike. Because the issue here, Rob and Mike, is do you blame a Plumtree, a Sol Plumtree, who was brought in with the squad? Or do you blame in guys who have given him a squad where he has no authority? Because Rassie can select with the pony agreements. Rassie can select whoever he wants because he contributes to the player's salary. And South African rugby has the first right to call at any time. But the Sharks are caught with their pants down because that preparation was not well done properly.
Okay, Mike?
Yeah, so I just want to come in from another approach here. And believe me, I'm not being a Sharks apologist here. But at the weekend, a Leinster team coincidentally featuring 13 Ireland internationals lost to Munster.
Yeah.
Leo Cullen said exactly the same thing that the Sharks coaching staff was saying. The guys are away, they come back. The guys are away, they come back. It's hard for everyone just to get into sync immediately when they come back to the URC. So is not the real problem, and I'm looking at it from a macro level, not a micro level, is that there's just too much rugby for the top players. Can they jump from one ship to the other ship and back to the other, and then they're backwards and forwards, and it's 12 months a year. Can they keep motivated with a Springbok jersey on, with an Irish jersey on, with a Leinster jersey on, with a Sharks jersey on? They're only human beings.
Rob, man management. No one is speaking about man management. I'll tell you a team in the Premier League. When they have their team meetings, preview, reviews, 30 minutes is enough. 30 minutes to do all of that. You know what's the reason? They've been together for the longest time. They know each other. They know what they can do. Let's also identify that at some point, you don't have to do too much. These guys are getting good money to do what they do for a living. And here, there was always that excuse that Eben would play better for South Africa than he would do for the Sharks. So I am saying is man management of a player, knowing when the player is tired, looks tired, then rest the player so that when he gets onto the field, he gives you his utmost and not worry about end of the year, 5-week end of the year tour. So that's the issues that I think from a management point of view on these players. Because remember, how many egos are the Sharks? How many egos?
Too many.
Too many egos. How many centurion? Bok centurions are going to be from there. Bok half centuries are there. And with all wanting to be part of a say or having a crack at what is being said by the coach. So for me, man management is important. Coaching staff also. Do they really give one another that opportunity to really do well for the team? Or they need a complete revamp? I don't know.
Sure. Revamp, maybe. That's the option. All right, let's hear from you again.
Good evening, Mr. Rob. It's Sulfalang here. And good evening to the MSW Shoulders. And good evening to the Room Dividers. I just have a question. Why is it that South African sides, particularly the Sharks, why are they struggling? What is happening? Is it the fact that maybe they're not gelling as a team? Maybe they're trying to figure out which is their best, maybe combination? Because, I mean, from a bird's eye view, you would expect a team to, head back into form when, your big stars, they have, come back. And I mean, the Sharks have a plethora of a Springbok stars in particular, the captain Siyakolisi, there's a Makazola Mapimpi as well. Just to name but a few, there's also, the likes of Apelele Fasi as well. Why is it that the Sharks are just not clicking? I mean, we're many, many games in, they're yet to collect a victory. They suffered a gut-wrenching defeat at home. What's happening with the Sharks? If they can delve deep into that and analyze, maybe just give people an idea, because it's unlike the Sharks to struggle in the way that they're struggling right now. So what is happening? Why they're struggling to get a result in the Vodacom URC? That's what I want to find out. Great show as always. Thanks.
Hey, Hulufalang, thank you so much indeed. Mike Greenaway, Tanda Banana. We've got all of a minute and a half to wrap things up, yeah? How do you want to wrap it up,
If
Mike?
I can wrap it up, guys, again, I sat down with the Sharks a week or so ago to discuss the way forward with them. I was told the following, and I was given evidence, that they recognize the problem, that their divide between their top Springboks and then the next guys stepping in is too wide. In other words, the guys stepping in when the Springboks are away are nowhere near the same level. So over the last 2 years, they've been investing heavily in their age group structures. And in fact, their under-21 team won their age group competition handsomely at the weekend. So they are understanding that they got it wrong in the past and they're trying to redress it. And the under-19 team and the under-21 teams is all about growing from within to produce players who are good enough at URC level, so that when the Springboks are away, they don't have the sudden, they don't fall off a
Is it
cliff.
going to be the same people, though, that are making the changes that have been there the whole time?
They are.
Well, probably that's part of the problem. From your side, Manana?
Rob, Leinster. Mike spoke about Leinster. Leinster has a functioning academy, which works well for them in the absence of their international team. Let it be said, the Sharks need to find that because they invest so much in the Sharks academy. Yeah. 2, let's be bluntly honest with this gentleman, is that other teams who have seen the return of the Boks in their URC team have actually gone out and won some games, critical games with those players. Stormers, you look at the Bulls in terms of that. Is that when now we have a Sharks when you have laden of them, 12, 13 of them, and they couldn't find that win. Because what's important is the employer is still the Sharks. It's not the Boks. The Boks, it's an honor to play for your country. But your home is still a home, Mike. The home is still a home. They've got to do as much as they do for the South African jersey when they play for the Sharks. If we were to reveal how much those players earn, and we sort of applaud, the display that they had at Kings Park.
Please just help me with one thing. Just tell the listeners what the time is.
Well, from my time, it is 18:59.
Your time is wrong, sir. Your time is wrong, and it's up.
Well, it says 18:59.
Yeah, so it's the wrong time, boss.
What is the right time?
I think you're in Japan or somewhere. You're not in South Africa, but we
Then I've got the wrong watch.
Yeah, I told you.
Then I've got the wrong watch.
You must stop buying them from there.
Rob, with more time.
That place.
With more time, I'll get it right.
Please. I'm
Thank you.
I'm worried about that watch of yours, man.
Thank you.
But you can tune in again next week,
Better
Tuesday.
than yours, by the way.
For the Room Dividers on Marawa Sports Worldwide. Proudly brought to you by F&B. From grassroots to greatness on 947 Rise FM, Vuma FM, and Sowetan Live. We're going to fix the watch problem next week. Thank you so much, Mike. Thanks, Mr. Manana. Kindly buy a new watch. This show is proudly brought to you by...
No comment.
Hollywood Bets. Catch you again tomorrow.
The thrill, the drama, the action. Play the game again. Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Vuma FM and Rise FM. Powered by Hollywood Bets. #MSW. Live now on 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live. At the same time.